Today I want to briefly introduce our Chinese commercial archive, advertisement archive to you and explain why we want to set up this archive and how we realize the idea, basically Chinese idea, into our archive and what we did and what kind of challenges we met in the past 2 years and most importantly, what we are willing to do in the future. So Chinese commercial advertisement archive, we call it as CAR, is a sub-project of the Ephemera project, a 4-year project sponsored by the Henry Luce Foundation. Oh yeah, I didn't know I left. The Child Center for Asian Studies of Rice University and Rice University. As an image-based and research-directed archive, CAI not only consists of the digital images rights for the international brands published in leading newspapers selected from the representative cities in China during the period of semi-colonizations, but also the textual metadata of each and every image, which includes the multiple level information records, just like the descriptive data of image content, bibliographical data of the newspaper, technical data of the digital files, as well as the information of the source of the image, present location, copyright, and the owning institution. At the stage of the achieve, CAR will open more than 70,000 images and the corresponding records for accessing publicly. And so the initial idea of the CAR basically have 4 ideas. The first one is research-directed project, and the second one is an image-based database. Third one is we want to take the angle of the history into the database, and the first one we want to do an international collaboration. As an ongoing project, only started last summer officially. So CAR is at the very initial stage, and we are looking for the best way to realize it, and also all your comments are welcome. And that's why we call it as a research-directed project. Basically, it's from the Chinese project, the Modern Girl, almost 10 years ago. Right? And through such kind of structure, you will see at the time that professors, just individual researchers, they do the research just along the vertical structure. From the China, started from the virtual elements and go to the national or international corporations, then go to the historical, economic, social, or cultural analysis. And basically we can find a lot of limitations to this kind of analysis. They use some kind of words as a heuristic device. But it's we can't say it's a systematic standard, just like Patty mentioned about that. Basically, we want to have some consistent analysis or consistent archive. So the second reason we think it's limited because the individual research. So you have a lot of repeated work and a lot of research actually wasted. So, and also because it's a single angle, so you will say almost at the end of the project, we can see each people just talking about one area. And so we think it's time for us to set up a new archive. And before, that's the Ephemera definition. I really don't want to talk about that. I tried to, from the last year workshop, actually the title is Defining Ephemera. And after 2 days, we just realized, it's an impossible task to define what is ephemera. And this year, actually, I heard quite similar but very different discussion again. So I just want to talk about the structure and the target developed from the Modern Girl project. So finally, we just want to talk about 3 elements. It's about the society. We call it as a concept in modern China. And also we want to based on 3 parts. This one is advertising, advertisement images. This is advertising industry actually. And this is sociological theory. And then we want to put three parts together to say the commercial culture and the globalism in modern China from the late 19th century to the middle of 20th century. And so that means we want to have some really virtual, evidence at this archive, and we also want to have some background information, and also we want to trace back to see how the sociological idea or the culture influence such kind of industry or such kind of virtual culture. And that's our image database. We use a virtual image and actual math data, and basically we're based on two platforms. One is the DSpace, DSpace. And then we also want to set up another one, a sister website on Omeka, but without master images, just the thumbnail images and metadata records, because we want to see money. The Amazon cloud is really expensive, and you can think about this, if 70,000 images upload to the cloud, the price will be really high. And that's the basic structure of our database now, and you can see we just got, that's a newspaper we selected from the 5 treaty part cities, and this is the image we can get finally, and that's the city we chose, and that's the real result. The car and founder library space and Omeka. And some people ask me about the criteria of exactly why we choose these newspapers. Basically because that in modern China, these 5 cities are most important treaty parts, and also we want to look at the international brands. So we have to choose some commercial newspapers, not the political one. And also we want to choose the most influential newspaper as the local, so we just choose some newspaper according to the circulation and the coverage. And the limitation of the preservation, because sometimes, just like Dengke showed, sometimes we just miss some records. Oh my gosh, okay, I just start, okay.
That's why my morning alarm didn't go off.
You mean we don't need to take a dinner, right? Okay. Just like Dengke mentioned, we lost some records. That's a physical losing, and we can't just recover them. So, just like the 粤华报, basically 粤华报 is not the most important newspaper in Guangzhou, and we found another one. But for that one, only one library in China preserved only, I think, 100 newspapers, the digital images of that newspaper. So we couldn't choose that, so we just choose the 粤华报. And that's the basic information, we can skip it. Again, find newspaper, and you will see that's the digital image of the full page. It's a 汉口中西报, just one day issue in 1908, September 10. And that's a little bit later, it's 1933. And it's a general one. That's why Tony just mentioned actually the advertisement changed a lot from the beginning to the later time. And more images and less text. Collecting, that's physical results we get from the just one newspaper from the microfilm, one from the digitized image, one from the white out because we haven't decided. Macrofilm's quality is really low, I think, because they just do the macrofilm, almost 40 years ago. And for another one, 大公报, we are thinking about maybe we can digitize the original newspaper. But we haven't made a deal with the local library, so we are still working on that. And also really tricky part is, I don't know about the padding, if you pay the British library to get the,
But that's not where the huge amount of money goes. You get gray hairs and lose sleep working out the copyright agreement. But actually, when you're working with collaborative person, they usually don't charge that much per image, you
You're
know.
lucky.
So at $10 is a high amount.
We just like this newspaper, we get free images from Shanghai Library. That's just like you said, we make an agreement and they want to get the data
Yeah.
from us, that's all.
Yeah.
But for this one, Shenbao already have several companies digitize this newspaper. And they have really high quality images. And we don't want to do the repeated work. So we just ask them and they said, okay, you can buy the whole database. It's almost, how to say, $20,000 for the whole newspaper.
Right.
Actually, I only need the advertisements.
Yeah.
So now what I'm doing is just talking to the local library and to buy the image, how to say, per images paid. Yeah.
If you can get your local library, you can get it digitized in town, or a good company.
I can get the microfilm out. I can borrow them out from the library.
Talk to them.
No, she's done an enormous amount of work. So there are a lot of different dead ends that we pursued all summer long, and negotiating sometimes works, but sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
And also right now in China, the profit motive is very high. So
Because
corporations
they're basically they
preferential.
call them as a public library, but they are not really public library. They also need to earn the money to feed their self. That's a problem. And also that's a little bit tricky part I found from the digitized material, because we're always talking about digitize, but actually the real part is the labor work. I mean, we have to do
Yes,
a lot of
exactly.
data work, scanning and the OCR and also, and why how to put the angle of the history into the database for us is based on the coding work. So we just choose such kind of metadata, just like we have the four levels. The first level is commodity, we have the brand agency, product category, company address, company nationality, company information. And some of them are from the advertisements, but some of them I need to find them from the internet or some other archives or database. And this is our advertisement. We have the advertisement subject, we have the vocabulary for this. And we also had asked the student to manually typing all the full text in traditional Chinese characters. And we also have the advertisements category, ad description. And this one, we haven't done it very well, because after I looked at the William Blake and the Your archive, and I was so upset with our work.
Sorry.
Yeah,
We've been working ours for 10 years.
I know, but still, I think just, that makes me think, okay, maybe 5 or even 2 years later, I have to go back to the advertisers to redo them, That's a part of...
You can look at what we've done and feel better.
You can look at what lots of people have done to feel better.
Yeah, and also we have the ad agency, but this part is also very interesting because we couldn't get this information directly from the advertisement. But Tarnit, through her research for many years, recognized some symbol or signature of that ad agencies. But we need to find out the meaning of the symbol at first. Then we can go back to code this. And we also have the ad title and the newspaper. That's a bibliographical data, quite simple. But this one, we have the issue date. It's a regular date, but we also have the Chinese lunar date and the Mingguo date, different dates. And the data part is basically based on the doubling code, because this space use the doubling code, so we just follow that. And that's what we are doing now. We just also our intern sitting over there, and we have 8. Oh, now we have 8. Yeah, I think so. They are working really hard on recognize the information. Just this that's the issue number. That's the date. Chinese original regular date, and that's a page, news page or advertisements, and that's the title, that's the advertisements they're doing, and they need to recognize the title, slogan, and the full text. Basically, we do this manually. And that's another page, you can see. And that's our workflow where we just do all these steps. And if we are lucky, we can ask the local library to do that part. I mean, it's the digitization part. Scanning, and we get the digital image, and basically Tanya and I do the metadata, I mean the code part. And we do the OCR. And OCR part is also very hard for us. I mean,
We
first.
don't do it.
Okay.
We transcribe
Oh my gosh.
everything.
Okay.
And then we insert the transcriptions
Okay.
into the fax.
I feel
files.
better now because we're at the same
OCR
situation.
doesn't, OCR wouldn't work on that, I would
Yeah,
think.
but for the Chinese, especially for the traditional character, Chinese character, it's really hard. The accuracy only can get, I mean,
Well, ours
think
is a
that's
black
60.
letter, so you can
Yeah,
imagine
60,
OCR,
yeah.
the accuracy is terrible.
Yeah.
So we gave up on that idea.
okay. So for our intern students, sometimes they only can process 4 images in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's fast.
Oh, I'm happy to know. And so we have 2 ways to process the data. One is the data set, that means manually, and now we are working on the information processing platform. So just like Derek mentioned, sometimes we can count on the computer to do that work, so we have to develop a website to ask the student to do the markup work. And the coding, the uploading, archiving to the database and the website. Oh my God. And that's the online platform we're developing now. It's just a quite simple image. That's the image, and that's the metadata we are using. Students only need to choose what's the subject and what's the nationality. We have a list, and that's the structure of the files, and they can just select one to do work, and they also can do the cropping work here. They can just find the small advertising image from the whole page and crop them.
What program is this?
No
How are
name.
you viewing it? Is there a name on it?
We haven't decided the name.
Oh, okay. But it's specially created.
Yeah, it's
Okay, gotcha.
customized, yeah.
Gotcha.
It's not the commercial
Are you doing it in
application.
PHP?
What?
In PHP?
PHP,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we did.
yeah. That's our carving on the displays, and you can see we try to do the bilingual, but still some kind of words, just like the forecast, we can do that. And that's our Omeka page. It's quite ugly, just ignore it, because we just, at this part, I'm not sure about if ever, if you use on this space before. Because when we try to use, connect the disk space and the Omeka together, want to export the data from the disk space and put into the Omeka. We can do that. Even both of them are open resource, softwares. So our programmer Jing at the foundry level just help us develop a plugin to do that part work. So now we can just easily use that plugin to include the transfer data from the disk space to the Omeka.